What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, even though this year is turning into quite the mess. Literally every month that goes by it seems to be getting worse, but I hope you're staying safe and that you are doing well. In this video I will be talking about the cancellation, the unfortunate cancellation of the Tekken World Tour 2020. The whole thing has been scrapped. It's down the paper basket or the trash bin. And I will also be talking about the inevitable Tekken 8 and what I would like to see in that. But I'll try and keep it short, and as I'm talking you have some footage there from last year's Tekken World Tour 2019. So yes, the whole Tekken World Tour is cancelled. A few months ago we learned that they were cancelling all of the events up until the middle of June due to COVID-19, Corona obviously being a health hazard. Not allowed to gather a lot of people in the same locale, the same room, and obviously not people from all around the world. It's not like this is news to you that the entire world was cancelled there for a while, like literally everything. And now they've decided, as obviously it turns out, that the long-term effects of COVID-19 are massive and a lot of it is unknown, so we've cancelled the whole thing now. And that's pretty disheartening, but considering everything that's going on, it feels pretty petty to start whining about Tekken tournaments. I mean, really. What do Tekken tournaments mean in the grand scale of things, considering, you know, what 2020 is right now? I sure hope 2021 is more, you know, rainbows and flowers and lovely cakes, you know, compared to 2020. But yes, not having any Tekken tournaments, I still am going to whine a little bit because it's I love this game. Tekken 7 has been on such a roll. It's been so great. All of the different seasons, the balance patches, the new characters. It's always been very interesting and cool to see what the pro players are able to do with them and how the meta of the game changes and the opinions on characters. And suddenly, you know, a breakout performance by sometimes a very well-known competitive player, or suddenly a player not a lot of people have heard about breaks out onto the scene. You know, the Pakistanis alone, that was so hype. So we're going to have none of that. We're going to have a few online tournaments, but that's obviously not going to be the same thing, and it's not going to be anywhere close to the same scale or the same amount of tournaments. So man, that really sucks. And no Evo, no Tekken World Tour Finals. That was very entertaining. Obviously it's always been very interesting for me to analyze gameplay, you know, and tournament results. But, okay. We're going to have to live with that. And again, we shouldn't whine, but yeah, I'm still whining. I'm a whiny bastard. But question is, will there be a Tekken World Tour 2021? Should there be? And should it be Tekken 7? Tekken 7 is so old now. Obviously, I'd rather have a tournament than not have one, but is it time now to start talking about Tekken 8 seriously? Has Tekken 7 run out of steam now? I don't know if you guys know, but Tekken 7 was actually revealed. It had a teaser trailer exactly 6 years ago, when I was 28. No, I was, oh sorry, no, I was 27. I was 27. 6 years ago. In the summer of 2014, it was revealed. So yeah, it might be time. And in 2015 it was launched in arcades. In 2016 you got Fated Retribution with Akuma, and 2017, 3 years ago exactly, it was launched on consoles and PC. So Tekken 7 is really old now, like especially if you're Korean or Japanese and you played it in arcades. It's like, it's super old. It's 5 years old now for those guys. And it seems like it's about time to reveal Tekken 8, or at least start talking about, well, you know, some of the ideas for the game. Tag 2, which was released in 2012 in September, had not even been out for 2 years. Not even 2 years before we were shown the first teaser trailer for Tekken 7. And why was that? Well, obviously because Tag 2 was not doing well. So they very quickly showed that, oh, look, we're working on something else, Tekken 7. A very story-oriented game that was going to please casual players more. Tag 2 didn't do that. Pleased hardcore gamers. But so now, you know, we're 3 years plus into Tekken 7 and still no teaser trailer. Obviously, because the game has legs, it's been doing so well, they've been focusing on seasons. But now that Tekken World Tour is cancelled, I don't know, is Season 4 even a good idea right now? At least for me, what makes the season so interesting is seeing tournament players. But obviously, they're not only that, I enjoy them as well. But I wonder how many casual gamers are interested in Tekken 7 right now after so many years, and considering the game is so bloated. I mean, what are you going to do with Season 4? Are you just going to include many more characters? I wish they would have taken another approach and given the game more online functionality, improve the netcode, maybe roll back netcode. Where's the crossplay, Bandai Namco? Why not give us more offline features or online modes, offline modes? Tekken Force mode, Tekken Ball, Team Battle. Instead, I am grateful. This is the first game to actually give us legit DLC, you know, and years of continued support, but they maybe should have diversified the content a bit more. Replay mode was great, punishment guide, frame data, but there were too many characters released. And I know that a lot of people feel characters are super hype, but at 50 characters, this game doesn't work practically anymore. It's just way too bloated. And that's a good starting point for what I would like to see in Tekken 8. Obviously, it's going to be story-oriented. The reveal of that game, we're going to see the conclusion of the Mishima Seiga, Kazuya vs. Jin. But in terms of the content of the game, I hope they obviously have a bigger budget due to Tekken 7 doing so well. More online modes, more offline modes. Reduce the character roster from, I mean, obviously now you have a lot of guest characters like Negan and Geese, Noctis. They're not going to return. Akuma. Just reduce the roster size greatly. In my opinion, we should have 25 characters. And when you lower, less is more. When you lower the amount of characters in the roster, you can give, from the budget, more time and resources to each and every one of those characters. To give them more spotlight, more production value. Give all of them newer animations, new intro and win poses to give them personality and character. Give each and every one of them more unique customization options to build more personality and character. If you have 25 characters and not 50, you have a decent chance of cramming all of them into the story mode. Give all of them a purpose. Not 10 characters in story mode and everyone else gets a horrible character episode, which is a terrible excuse for some form of story. That was just rubbish. And so I hope you get my point. Like, less is more. Less characters, less bloating in terms of complexity for people to get into the game, because right now you need a PhD in frame knowledge to play this game. So you make it less bloated. You can have, if you only have 25 characters, you can save 25 characters that are very unique and set themselves apart from each other. Again, I just want to stress that give them all time to shine instead of putting in 50 characters and, you know, it all looks pretty bland. I've stressed it so many times, and I hope I'm speaking clearly to you here and making the point, but in Tekken 4 you have like 19 characters, but they are all better animated than they are in Tekken 7. It sounds like a joke because that game was released in 2001, I think, in arcades, but the characters' facial animations are better than they are in Tekken 7. Just, you can go to YouTube, you're watching me on YouTube, search for Kazuya Tekken 4 intro win poses. You'll see that he has way more articulation in his face than he has in Tekken 7. And why is that? Because Tekken 7 had a restricted budget, and they want a lot of characters, so they just reuse old content and just shove it in. I think if you reduce the roster, you can get less of that. And it's so much easier to balance a smaller roster as well. So you get my point. Instead of putting in a lot of characters for needless complexity, focus on the gameplay, give us bigger movement, and not more simplicity. Give the game some of its old depth back. You know, better movement instead of a lot of characters. You know, that's the good depth, the movement. We need more defensive options thanks to movement, and remove all of these super attacks like Claudio's back one that do everything, and hop kicks that crush everything. So yeah, and I think if you have less characters, that's more time and resources. Again, you put into customization, more modes, team battle, all of that stuff that I think would be great. And maybe look at, stop being so, you know, cemented in, it seems like they are a little bit cemented in old tradition, game developer, maybe Japanese game developer tradition, very set in their ways. Maybe look at games like Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat, not so much for the gameplay. Tekken has always featured better gameplay, but just in terms of the functionality of those games, and the amount of content in those games, and how they work technically, like online and graphics, they're so ahead of the game in comparison to Tekken. You know, they feel like very modern games, Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct. And Tekken has always been good in its gameplay, but it's never felt like a very modern game. So I feel they should maybe open their eyes a little bit to what competitors are doing. I think rollback netcode, from all I've taken in from the community, just seems like a good idea. And maybe frame data should be there on launch. Why not have matchmaking from practice mode? You know, all of these small things that we take for granted in other fighting games that just haven't made it to Tekken. So yeah, I hope all of this makes sense. Like, I have a lot of thoughts about Tekken 8, and it just seems so clear to me that, you know, reduce the roster. If you just do that, you really open up a pathway to make all of the characters shine and give the game the type of content that counts, which is game modes, rather than, you know, a bloated character select screen. And modernizing Tekken. And the gameplay has the gameplay, you know, Tekken 7 has perfected the Tekken 5 formula. This really is Tekken 5.5. That is what Tekken 7 is, and it's been great. It's wonderful. But maybe in Tekken 8, revamp the movement, reduce move lists, in my opinion, and just maybe standardize mid hitboxes, low hitboxes, stage elevation, obstacles on the stages. Just do something different, in my opinion. I think now that Tekken 7 has done so well, maybe the board of directors at Bandai Namco feel that, you know, don't take a risk. You nailed it with this. Do the same thing for Tekken 8, but with better visuals on PS5. I think there's a good chance of that happening, because last time we took a chance, that was Tag 2, and that fucking flunked. So I think there's a good chance we're going to be pressured to do Tekken 7 again, but on PS5. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we get something very different and creative. But you know what? That's my cup of tea. That's my opinion. Maybe you want Tekken 7, Tekken 7.2, Tekken 8 on PS5. And maybe that, you know, maybe that would be the rational way to go. But I just would like to see something very different. So I don't want to talk you to death. It's been 15 minutes, but yeah, Tekken World Tour is cancelled. It's very sad, but it was, you know, quite inevitable. And I'm hoping Tekken 8 is around the corner, and maybe we can get some reveal in a few months. It would feel like the logical thing to do, and not wait another year. That would be weird. Gotta capitalize on the momentum of Tekken 7, and now that Tekken World Tour is gone, that removes a lot of the hype Tekken 7 has. So I hope they stay on the ball now, you know, and kick it out of the park with, oh, what's the goddamn expression, and reveal Tekken 8. Hit it out of the park, oh, whatever. But yeah, thanks for listening to me, and I hope you have a pleasant day. Take care.